Hello everyone, in this video we'll go over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Orange Unit 17 words. You can follow along at home using your book. Let's get started. Our first word is approximate. Approximate can be an adjective or a verb, and it means almost exact or correct. It can also be to come close to or approach. When something is approximate, it's close to the real number or the real answer, but maybe not exactly the same. The first sample sentence says, the approximate age of a fourth grade student is 9. So when we use the word approximate, we're saying that the students who are in fourth grade, almost all of them are 9, but maybe some are still 8 or some just turned 10. So it's not exactly 9 always, but sometimes it is 9. So it's almost this answer. And using it as a verb, we can say, the dog's howls approximate the sound of a wolf baying at the moon. So when a dog howls, that sound is very similar to when you would hear a wolf howl. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. It's almost that. We often use approximate to talk about how much something costs. For example, for this toy, I can say the approximate cost of the toy is $6. So here on the price tag, you can see it says $5.99, but when we add extra tax to this, then the price would be closer to 6. So we can say the approximate price is 6, or the almost exact price. Similarly, we can use approximate to talk about time when we don't know what the exact or correct time, but we can guess or we know a little bit what time it would be. For example, in this clock here, you can see the time is 3:05. But you might say the approximate time is 3 o'clock. It's not exactly 3, but that's almost correct. And another example is, she approximated how many candies were in the jar. So in this jar, I don't know exactly how many candies there are, but I can make a guess that would come close to the correct answer. Some synonyms for approximate are estimated and near, and an antonym is exact. Our next word is construct. Construct is a verb, and construct means to make or build by fitting parts together. When you construct something, you are making something from smaller pieces. You can construct a house, a bridge, or even a sentence. The example sentence says, Dad and I used scraps of wood to construct a birdhouse. So in this sentence, scraps are the smaller pieces. So we take those smaller pieces of wood to construct something bigger like this birdhouse here. Another example could be, the workers constructed a tall building. Or, like I said, we can use construct to even talk about a sentence. I can say, she constructed a sentence with her new vocabulary words. Just like in this picture here, we use the words to construct or put together our sentence. Some synonyms of construct are compose and create. Antonyms are destroy and ruin. Have you ever constructed something? Our next word is crude. Crude is an adjective, and crude means done or made without skill or care. Something crude is made in a simple or rough way without much skill or care to it. It's very basic or simple or not finished very nicely. For example, you can make a crude bookshelf from a few bricks and a piece of wood. Just like in this picture here, you can see it is a bookshelf, and it's just made with some bricks here holding it up at the middle and the sides, and some long pieces of wood. It's not a very nice bookshelf, it's not finished very well, but it does what it's supposed to do, so I can describe it as being crude. Another example could be, he made a crude drawing of a duck. As you can see, this drawing is not finished very well. It looks like the person didn't have a lot of drawing skill, so we can call it crude. And another example is, the crude map showed only a few details. In this map, if someone tells you that you need to get to this X, it might be a little bit difficult because the details are very crude. There's not a lot of them. It might be difficult to find it since we don't know where exactly between these trees or after the river this X is going to be. So it's described as being a crude map. Some synonyms for crude are basic, simple, and rough. Antonyms are fancy and sophisticated. Our next word is decline. Decline is a verb, and decline means to refuse to accept or do something. The example sentence says, I have to decline the invitation to the party because I am sick. So since decline means that you don't want to do something, in this sentence, the person is saying that they cannot accept the invitation or they cannot go to the party, and the reason is because they are sick. So since they are sick, they have to decline or they have to say no to going to the party. Anytime that you say no to something, you are declining to do that thing. Another example is if someone offers you some food, so they want to give you food, but you don't want that food, then you can decline or you can say no. I could also say, he declined his sister's help with tying his shoes because he wanted to do it by himself. So his sister offered to help him tie his shoes. Maybe he's still learning how to do this, but he declined her help. He said, no, I will do it by myself. And one thing that we often decline is a phone call. Maybe you've seen this button on your phone or your mom's phone. There's an accept button and a decline button. So since decline means no, when you click this decline button, then the phone call will stop. Some synonyms for decline are reject, and an antonym is accept. And we can also use decline as a noun, and the meaning is a little bit different. Now decline is a decrease in influence, strength, or amount. So it means that something is getting smaller. It can be your strength, your health, or it can be a number. For example, a poor diet can cause a decline in health. If someone is always eating very unhealthy food so that their diet is poor, in the sentence poor just means not good. So if their diet is poor, then the health can decline, or the health will get smaller, will get worse. And you can also say, as you get older, your memory might decline. So usually people who are older are often forgetting things or they can't remember new things. So we can say her memory has declined or her memory is in decline. And we can also use this word to talk about buildings when they're getting older. For example, I could say, the old building showed signs of decline. You can see here, the building is starting to crack on the side. So that would be a sign of decline. It's showing us that this building is getting worse. The strength is getting lower. And we can also use decline to talk about anything with numbers. For example, we can say, we saw a decline in sales this year. So sales is when people are buying things. And maybe this year it was more difficult for people to buy things, so there was a decline in sales. A synonym for decline is weakening, and antonyms are an increase and a strengthening. Our next word is distinct. Distinct is an adjective and it means not alike, different from others. For example, you can tell the two kittens apart because one has a distinct white stripe on its tail. So if you look at these two kittens, they might look like they are almost the same. So how do you tell which kitten is which one? So the sentence says that one of them has a stripe on its tail. And that's how you know which one is which kitten. So we can call that stripe a distinct thing or a distinct characteristic, something that helps us tell that this is different from other things. It's clearly different. Another example could be, the smell of popcorn is distinct from other foods. It's very different from other foods. When you smell popcorn, you know right away that that smell is popcorn. You don't need time to guess or think about it because it's very distinct. And another example is, the twins have distinct personalities. So often when there are people who are twins, they might look like they are the same, but their personality or their behavior is usually very distinct or different, so that it's easy to know which twin is which one. And another example could be, there are 3 distinct colors in the flag. So in this flag here of France, you can see that there are 3 colors, and the 3 colors are distinct. They are not alike, they are very different. So in this way, we can use the word distinct to talk about things that might look similar, but are different when you actually look closer. Or we can use it to talk about things that are obviously very different from other things. Some synonyms are definite and one of a kind. An antonym is similar. Our next word is evident. Evident is an adjective, and evident means clear or plain to see. For example, the muddy paw prints made it evident that the dog took the sandwich. So if you left a sandwich on a table and suddenly your sandwich is missing, but there were some paw prints like this leading from the table to your dog, then you can clearly see that the dog probably took and ate your sandwich. So when something is very clear or very obvious, then we can say it is evident. It stands out so people understand or they know right away what happened. Another example is, his sadness was evident in his eyes. If you look at someone and they have a very sad look like this on their face, then you can say that sadness is evident. So you can see it right away. When someone is happy, that might also be something that is evident. You can say his happiness was evident. Another example is, it was evident she was tired from her yawn. If you see someone have a big yawn like this, then it's very plain to see or very clear that they are tired. And in this picture, what do you think is the evident thing here? Obviously, I can say it is evident that her favorite color is pink because everything in the room is pink. Synonyms are obvious and noticeable. Antonyms are unclear, hidden, and unknown. Our next word is impulse. Impulse is a noun, and an impulse is a sudden wish or urge to do something. For example, when the movie reached the scary part, I had the impulse to cover my eyes. So an impulse is something that you wish or something you do without thinking about it first. So in this sentence, when you're watching a scary movie, your hands might automatically come up to your face to cover your eyes when you feel scared. That's an impulse. You do it without thinking about it. Or you could say, she had an impulse to run outside and play. She suddenly really wanted to go outside and play, so she did it. That's called an impulse. Another impulse you might have is hugging someone. For example, I could say, on impulse, the monster gave her a hug. Maybe this little girl was too cute, so the monster just suddenly gave her a hug on impulse because he wanted to do it. Synonyms for impulse are desire and inclination, and antonym is aversion. Our next word is interpret. Interpret is a verb, and interpret means to explain the meaning or importance of. So when you interpret something, you try to understand it in your own way, or someone is explaining it to you. The example sentence says, the doctor will interpret the lab results. So if you've ever gone to a doctor and had some tests done, like a blood test or an x-ray, then that doctor, after they get your results or after they get the information, they will interpret it for you. They will look at it and they will tell you what it means. Because people usually don't understand about medical things a lot, so they need the doctor to interpret it for them. Another example is, the teacher helped us interpret the story. So if you're in class and you're reading a story that might be a little bit difficult to understand, then the teacher will help you interpret or will help you understand it by explaining the meaning of the story to you. Something that people often interpret is the meaning of art. For example, if someone looks at this picture, they might say, he interpreted the painting as a happy scene. So when he looked at the painting, he thought or he understood the meaning of it as being happy. Similarly, I could say, they interpreted the dream in different ways. Maybe this man had a dream and then he told his friend about the dream, and they both had a different explanation about what that dream could mean. People often interpret their dreams in different ways. Some synonyms for interpret are define, clarify, and understand. And an antonym is misunderstand. Our next word is orient. Orient is a verb, and orient means to adjust or adapt to a new or unfamiliar situation. To find one's position in relation to new surroundings. So for example, it took a few seconds for my eyes to orient themselves to the bright sunlight. So when you are orienting yourself to something, you are trying to get used to a new place or a new situation, or you're trying to find your position and know where you are. So in this example sentence, if you were inside and suddenly you go outside and it's very bright, then it'll probably take your eyes a few seconds or a minute to get used to this bright light. So anytime that you are trying to get used to something, then you can use this word orient to explain that situation. Likewise, when you suddenly enter a dark room, you really can't see anything because it's too dark at first. Your eyes need to orient themselves. So I could say, he tried to orient himself in the dark room. He tried to figure out where he was, what his position was, so maybe he didn't hit any furniture accidentally in the room because it's so dark. I could also say, when you move to a new school, you need time to orient yourself. For example, you need to learn where the classrooms are and what all the rules are. So that kind of situation, you can say that you're trying to orient yourself or you're trying to get used to this new situation. And we often use this word when we're talking about your position or where you are. So people who are camping often use a compass. So I could say, the campers oriented themselves in the forest by using a compass. So they used this compass to help them figure out where they are or what their position is. One synonym for orient is familiarize, and there are no antonyms for this word. Our next word is sector. Sector is a noun, and a sector is a part or division of something. and the part of a circle included between two radii. So a sector is just a smaller part or section of something bigger. For example, a city can be divided into different sectors. So if you look at this picture here, let's say that this is a map of a city, and in the picture you can see all of the different sectors. Here's sector 2, here is sector 6, and the one here in the color is sector number 3. So cities are often divided in these different sectors so that people know where they can build different things. So sometimes a sector is only for homes, so only homes can be built in that area. Or sometimes a sector is only for businesses, so only businesses can be built there. So all of these smaller parts of the bigger city can be called a sector. The example says, each grade was assigned a different sector of the park to clean up. So since the sector is a smaller part of something bigger, the bigger thing here is the park. So if we look at this picture here, let's say that this is the park, and then all of these smaller areas are the sectors. So there's the climbing sector, the swing sector, the seesaw sector, the slide sector, the roundabout, and the picnic area. All of these are the smaller parts or sectors of the bigger park. And in this sentence, each grade was given a different sector to clean up. So maybe first grade will clean up here, second grade will clean up here, third grade here, and so on. So sectors are the different parts. And in math, a sector is the part of a circle that kind of looks like a slice of pizza. It's like this little triangle here. So a sector is made by the two lines, this one here, that are meeting in the middle. So anytime that you see this, usually on a graph, we can call it a sector. One example sentence could be, we colored one sector of the circle. Or I could say, a sector of the pie chart showed the number of girls in the class. Some synonyms for sector are piece and segment, and an antonym is whole. Our next word is submit. Submit is a verb and it means to present or hand in something. It can also mean to surrender or give in to someone or something. For example, young children will keep asking for something until you submit to their wishes. So in this sentence, there is a young child maybe asking their parent to buy them a toy. And the sentence is saying that children will keep asking for it until the parent submits. So in this sentence, submit is being used as surrendering or to give up. So the mom will give up and say, okay, fine, we can buy this toy. So that kind of situation is called submit. Another time where someone might submit, let's say that teams are playing a game, and if a team submits, it means that they stop fighting or competing and they give up. The other definition for submit is to hand something in. So we would use this for like homework. For example, I could say, he submitted his homework to the teacher. So he handed it in or he gave his homework to the teacher. I could also say, she submitted her art for the contest. So she made this painting and she handed it in or she turned it in to the contest so that she could be part of the contest. So in this way, we can use submit to talk about turning something in or about giving up. Some synonyms for submit are yield and obey, and one antonym is defy. Our next word is zest. Zest is a noun, and zest is a strong interest or enjoyment. For example, the explorer has a zest for adventure and travel. If you do something with zest, then you do it with lots of energy and happiness. So this sentence is saying that this explorer has a lot of energy and a lot of happiness when it comes to traveling and exploring new places. Another example is, he plays soccer with zest every weekend. So he has a lot of energy and he's very happy when he's playing soccer. So we can use this word zest to describe that situation. He's playing with zest, or he has zest. It's like a feeling. And we could also say, she has a zest for learning new things. She has energy and excitement when it comes to learning new things. Some synonyms for zest are enthusiasm, passion, and interest. And antonyms are apathy and dullness. Is there anything that you have a zest for doing? And that's all for this video. We went over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Orange Unit 17 words. Thank you so much for listening and see you next time. Bye!